Hi, namaste. This is Ali, and in this yoga session, we are going to do some gentle and restorative yoga for the full moon phase. So know that you can do this class at any time. It doesn't have to be during the full moon, but we will be inviting in a theme of trust, a positive bhavana of cultivating trust on this full moon experience. So you can do this anytime, and I'm going to share with you what props you might like to grab for your practice today. So you may like to pause your video and grab a few items. I have 2 blocks, which you could also use pillows or a stack of books. I have an eye covering, which is optional. You could use a scarf, or this is an eye pillow. I have a folded blanket, which I often use as a pillow behind my head or to cover my body for warmth, and a bolster. So right here at the beginning, if you need to pause and grab some items, you can do that. I'm going to actually sit up onto my folded blanket for a little bit of support for the beginning of the practice. So when you're ready, you can find a comfortable seated position, and then palms facing up to the sky, closing down through the eyes to begin connecting with your breath here. So let your face start to relax and start to deepen the rhythm of your breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, in through the nose, letting it go through the mouth. And one more deep breath like this. On the next inhale, please bring a gentle humming sound on the exhale, like the buzz of a bee. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale, gentle humming sound. Another deep breath in. Let the humming gently vibrate your mind, your brain. Just at your own pace, continuing a couple more times. And if you haven't joined me for one yet, or you've been doing it with your eyes open, for this one, please close down your eyes. Taking a moment to let your breath come back to a natural and easeful rhythm. Noticing how you feel, noticing the sensation of your body in this seated position. And might you welcome or imagine a full moon, bright and illuminated in the night sky. And might you welcome a sense of trust in knowing that the full moon arrives each and every lunar cycle. waxes to full moon, full flower moon illumination, and wanes into the dark moon. And you can trust in that rhythm, consistent, flowing from full moon to dark moon, just like the cycles in the natural world. The sun rises each morning and sets each evening. And you can trust in the sun to rise each and every morning. The sun to set each and every evening. This natural rhythm, again dependable, worthy of your trust. A trustworthy cyclical nature. And you might begin to deepen your breath and welcome any other rhythms, seasons, or elements of the natural world which you can always depend upon. For me, it's being near water to bring me a sense of peace, contentment, and a feeling of at-homeness. Or a sunset to invoke a feeling of awe and gratitude. Just welcoming in a few things that feel dependable and worthy of your trust. Cultivating that feeling of trust. Breathing it in, letting it go. Breathing it in and letting it go. Let's do one more deep breath. Good, and then slowly beginning to flutter the eyes open, a soft gaze, and bringing the chin down towards the chest. On the next inhale, let your right ear roll over towards the right shoulder, and then exhaling, chin down to the chest. Inhaling over to the other side, exhaling, chin to the chest. And you might close back down through the eyes to feel your way from side to side. A gentle attention to the sensations in your body as you explore this movement with your breath. You might consider the breath itself. Trustworthy, a constant rhythm. Always there, supporting and nurturing your body with oxygen, releasing carbon dioxide, and you can trust in your body's ability to breathe. Already happening, automatic intelligence of your body. Cultivating, again, that sensation or the feeling tone of trust. The next time that the chin draws down to the chest, pausing here, lifting the head back up to center, and you might again flutter your eyes open, a very soft and gentle gaze. And then inhaling to sweep the right arm up to the sky. You can bring the left hand down to the earth, coming up and over into a lateral stretch. And then inhale, let your heart lift up, reach the arm back, spread your fingers wide. And exhale to bring the arm down and around. Good. And then inhaling to reach the arm up. Exhale to bend the elbow, bringing hand behind the head. And the inhale, gently looking up, let your head take a little bit of, your hand take a little bit of the weight of your head. Good. Grounding into the left hand, take a deep breath. And exhale to release the arm down. Let's reach the arm out to the side and flex gently at the wrist so the fingertips are spreading apart and the palm, the heel of the hand is pressing down and the fingers pointing up towards the sky. Slowly bring your left ear towards the left shoulder, feeling a stretch through the neck and the arm, and then little tiny circles with the arm if it feels good, and only if it feels good. You can breathe deep here. Let your arm explore very small, very subtle movements. You might even turn your head a little bit to face down towards the earth. Another deep breath or two here. Feeling sensations. If you're circling, you might reverse the direction. And you might explore more into some wrist circles here. Just notice what your body needs. Maybe some little circles round and round with the head and the neck on this left side. And then letting the arm come down to rest. We'll come over to the other side, inhaling to lift the right arm up. Exhaling over into lateral stretch. On the inhale, letting the heart open up to the sky, up towards that full moon. Reach your arm back, spread fingers wide. Exhaling to let the arm come down towards the left side, and then circling back and up. Exhale to bend the elbow, bringing hand behind the head. And again, you might let your hand take a little bit of the weight of the head to lift your heart, lift your gaze. And then exhaling, releasing down. And we'll again flex at the wrist, press the hand and the arm away from you. Spread the fingers wide and bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. Feeling any stretch, gentle movements here, gentle stretches, gentle movements. Deep breaths. You might start to circle your arm ever so slowly. You might turn your head towards the earth a little bit. You might close down through the eyes to feel your way through the movements, maybe reversing the direction of the circles. Or maybe you start to roll the wrist. Maybe you start to circle the head ever so gently. And then coming back to neutral spine, letting the hand rest down, and let's bring the hands back onto the lap, palms facing up, closing down the eyes. Imagine yourself just for a moment basking in the light of the full moon. And you might imagine the moon in the sky and its gravitational pull towards the earth. Imagining the moon can trust in that gravitational pull to keep it close by. A gentle, consistent force, keeping it in its orbit, its rotation of the planet. You might imagine that sense of trust could shine down on you, the light of that trust, the light of that moon shining down on you here. A couple deep breaths. And then very slowly fluttering the eyes open to come to a table position. So coming to hands and knees. If you have sensitive wrists or knees, you might take your folded blanket and place it beneath your knees or to pad the wrists a little bit if needed. And we're going to move through some cat and cow stretches here. So nice and slowly on the inhale, lifting the tailbone, looking forward with the gaze, letting the belly droop and drop down towards the earth. And then on the exhale, tucking the chin, letting the back arch as you tuck chin towards the chest. And then slowly moving back through center. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat. When you're ready, closing down the eyes. And just moving at your own pace through cat and cow. Feeling sensations in the spine and flowing with your breath. And the next time that you come to a neutral spine, begin to walk the hands gently forward. So you can keep your hips directly above the knees. And as you walk the hands forward, let the heart melt down towards the earth. You can let your forehead bow down towards the earth if it feels good. Coming into Anahatasana, or heart melting pose, also known as puppy stretch. Just breathing deep here. If this posture feels uncomfortable for any reason whatsoever, just coming back to cat and cow instead. One more deep breath. And then slowly begin to walk the hands back in and planting the left hand just out in front of you, reaching the right arm through to thread the needle And coming down towards the earth, you might let your right temple rest down on the ground. And if it doesn't feel comfortable to stay in this position, you can flow in and out by grounding your left hand down, reaching the right arm up to the sky in a table pose, and then exhaling to reach the arm through. So you can flow up and down with your breath if you like, inhaling to reach and exhaling to thread the needle. But if it feels comfortable to come down into stillness, then pausing here for a couple of deep breaths. And then slowly unwinding and coming to the other side. So you might bring your right hand a little further out in front and then reach the left arm through, coming to thread the needle for several deep breaths. Or again, you can flow, if it feels better, hand beneath the shoulder in table position to reach the left arm up on the inhale, and exhale to thread the needle and reach through. Inhaling to reach up and exhaling to reach down and through. Again, if at any point it feels comfortable to come down into stillness for a couple of deep breaths, please do so. Grounding through the palm, coming back up to table position, and then just taking a moment here to move through cat and cow, inhaling to look forward, lifting the tailbone, and exhaling to round into cat stretch. Good. You might like to open through the side bodies a little bit by looking over one shoulder towards your hip and then over to the other side. Just side to side a couple times, staying with your deep breathing rhythm. And then we'll bring our bolster over for the next position. And you can either place your bolster in a low position like this, or you can tilt it up a little bit to make it a little higher if you've got one of these rectangular bolsters, which is what I like to do. And then grounding through the feet to relax back onto the bolster and bringing hands behind the head. And just taking a moment here to let your back arch and open up, only coming back as far as feels good. And you might take a deep breath or two here. And then with the support of the hands, tucking the chin towards the chest, engaging the core to come up to a seated position. Good. And then we'll come down into a supported back bend. There's two options for this one, the supported back bend or a supported hero's pose. So bringing the blocks to, this is the middle height, and then the lowest height that I've got my blocks on. And then I'm going to place my bolster on top in this reclined position. So there's going to be two options. One will be for a more restorative variation of the posture, and one will be for a little bit more of an active stretch, or what we would call active restorative, or more like a yin posture. So the first option is to simply come into that passive restorative posture, letting the shoulders gently open onto the bolster. You can choose what feels comfortable for the legs. For some it'll be cross legs. For some you may like to extend your legs long. For some you could even bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open out to the sides. And then if you'd like to come into the more yin or active stretch, we'll do one side at a time in the hero's posture. So in order to get into this, we'll bring the right hand onto the right shin and gently guide the foot out to the side so that the knee is in a comfortable position and the foot is coming out to the side. You might bring your knees towards each other and then let your other leg just relax, extended long, and coming down to rest here. So there should be a gentle stretch in the right thigh, and if it feels like too much, or if there's any pain in the knee whatsoever, then please come back up and come into that restorative posture instead with the legs extended or one of the other options. So choosing what feels right for you, coming down to rest, closing through the eyes. Come back to your breath here. Relaxing the jaw, gently parting the teeth, relaxing through the fingers. Deep breaths into the belly. Let your whole body, your whole upper body feel supported by the props beneath you. Head resting heavy. Gentle rhythm of breath in your belly. And if you're in the half hero's posture, very slowly we'll come up to the other side. So the right leg is in hero's pose. We'll come to the left arm to press down into the forearm, engage the core to rise up. Come over to the left side to let your right leg extend over, and you might give it a little shake or a little thump. And then over onto the right hand to bend the left knee, bringing the left hand to support your way into hero. Let your foot come to a comfortable position on the left side. Knees come towards each other, just as much as is comfortable to lay back down into hero's pose on the other side. You might wiggle your right toes of the extended leg, and then coming back to your breath, relaxing back into the posture. Relaxing the eyelids down. You might imagine you could breathe into the sensations in the left thigh. Again, remembering that you can release the posture at any point that you need to, or that you feel the urge to. Deep breaths into the belly. Take one more deep breath here. And if you're in the passive restorative posture, just stay where you are for a moment. If you're in the hero's posture, coming over to the right arm, engaging the core to rise up, extending the leg, and coming back down to rest for a deep breath or two. You might thump out the left leg or wiggle the left toes. One or two deep breaths. Very slowly, we'll begin to transition to the next posture. So with as little effort as possible, bending the knees and coming over to one side. We're going to place the bolster across the mat like so. And we don't need the blocks for this one, so you can move the blocks out of the way for now. And there's going to be two different options for this next posture, and one of them is going to be up against a wall. So if you have a wall nearby, you can always gravitate towards that wall. But if you don't, actually, we're going to take the bolster out to the side first. I'll put it on this side so it's easier to see. And we're coming into restorative bridge pose. So I'll show you how to do that up against the wall, but I'm going to show the other version first. So the feet come to about hip distance apart on the mat. The bolster is beside you, grounding down through the feet. Engage the core and the glutes to lift the pelvis up off of the ground, bringing the bolster behind your sacrum and pelvis so that your whole pelvis feels completely supported and at ease. Now you can stay right here in this position with feet firmly planted on the ground, or you can explore a gentle inversion of the legs along the way. So maybe lifting one leg up to the sky, closing the eyes, rolling out the ankles, wiggling the toes, whatever feels good. And you can kind of explore from side to side. You can also lift both legs up to the sky as well if it feels comfortable for your low back. And then whenever you're feeling complete in that exploration with the legs, then the feet simply come back down to rest in bridge pose. So that's the first option. The second option I'll show you is against the wall. And we bring the bolster up nice and close to the wall and shimmy the hips up nice and close to the wall, and actually hips right onto the bolster for this one. And then coming down, we do a little bit of a pivot. So the hips come into that same bridge pose position where the whole pelvis feels supported by the bolster, and the legs simply come straight up the wall instead of into the bridge position with the feet on the floor. So the pelvis is still in the supported bridge position on the bolster, and the legs simply come up to rest, like a version of legs up the wall pose. Closing down through the eyes and just breathing deep breaths here. So you might be in a bridge pose with feet on the earth. You might be in bridge pose, exploring one leg up, and then eventually the other leg. Or you might be resting with legs against the wall. If at any point you feel the urge like you need to release your legs down from the wall, you can always bring soles of the feet together and let your knees bend down to a little bit of a Baddha Konasana or bound angle position with the legs. Feeling the support of the ground beneath your body, the stability of the ground. And once again, you might consider how you can trust in the ground to be stable and support you. And you can just rest back into that support. A sense of trust in the immensity and stability of the earth itself. And you can simply relaxing into that sense of trust that you have for the ground to be stable and support you. Coming back to the stability and the rhythm of your breath, like peaceful waves upon a shore. Waves of breath rolling in, waves of breath rolling out. And you can trust in that rhythm. Imagining yourself once again basking in the light of the full moon. The full moon, fully trusting the earth's gravitational pull to hold her. And you can trust in that cycle of the full moon rising in the sky, waning into the dark moon, and waxing once again into her full illumination. Bringing to mind anything else in this world in which you feel a sense of trust. What cultivates a sensation of trust within you? In what ways do you show up for yourself? In what ways can you trust yourself? Just taking a few more breaths here in bridge pose or whatever variation you're exploring. Again, knowing that you can trust in your body if you feel the urge to release a pose. Trusting in your body and listening to your body, taking the action to release the posture and come back to a comfortable position. And if you're in the legs up the wall variation, begin to slowly bend your knees, bringing soles of the feet onto the wall. And then bringing the legs over to one side to come slowly off of your bolster. Just letting your hips shift down onto the earth, maybe onto your yoga mat. You might bring your arm beneath the head for support for a deep breath or two. And then resting here, and I'll also describe how to release the bridge pose. If you're in bridge pose in the middle of the yoga mat, taking a moment to ground through the feet and engage the glutes, the core, to lift the pelvis up, slide the bolster out from beneath you, and then let your pelvis relax back down. Maybe extend the legs, or again, you might come over into that side lying position for a deep breath or two. Just whatever feels natural, whatever feels intuitive. You might hug your knees to your chest, laying on the back in supine position. Couple of deep breaths wherever you land. And for some, you might take this time to transition into Shavasana or Savasana. And you might bring along a blanket, a folded blanket for behind your head, or a pillow for behind your head, maybe an eye pillow. You might take a bolster behind your knees. And I'm going to link to a guided Yoga Nidra practice for cultivating trust at the end of this video. So you can take your time now to get into a comfortable position, setting yourself up for some deep rest and strengthening that feeling of trust within yourself. Trusting ourselves is the first step to trusting life and trusting the universe. And I find it also really helpful to notice, what do I already have a deep sense of trust for in the natural world or in my relationships. So just taking your time now to get set up and comfortable for this. And if you're here from a moon-to-moon restorative yoga teacher training, I'm very excited to hear from you in the comments below. If you're here from my channel, I'd also love to hear from you in the comments below. You might let me know how you feel. You might go into Yoga Nidra and then come back at a later time and let me know. Let me know how this practice was for you. And if you're interested to learn more about restorative yoga, if you're a new yoga teacher and you'd love to learn to guide restorative yoga after your 200-hour training, or if you're a lifelong student who is a sincere seeker that would love to deepen your understanding of yoga philosophy, to go into a deep study of the natural cycles and Ayurveda and calming the nervous system. There's so much to explore in self-inquiry within these training programs for those who would love to guide, but also those who are on a personal journey of studying yoga and deepening into those studies. So if you'd like to learn more, I'll leave more information in the comments below. And we would love to have you come into our program. Our restorative teacher training program is a self-paced program that is lifetime access, and it flows through the lunar cycles each month. And there's a beautiful community of souls within there that come onto our live calls with our mentors, practice with one another, practice together, and it's just really a wonderful place to be on the in the global community of people who are practicing yoga together. These yogas that cultivate deep rest and calm and soothed nervous system regulation, these types of things. So thank you once again for joining me. Again, my name is Ali. I have lots and lots and lots of restorative yoga on my channel. I even have many different 5-day restorative yoga immersions along with Yoga Nidra in there as well. So if you would like to take your Yoga Nidra practice to a deeper level of relaxation and deep rest, then I highly recommend checking out some of these different 5-day immersions. So you can look for the full moon 5-day immersion, Cultivating Gratitude, the new moon 5-day immersion. We have a waxing moon 5-day immersion where we're really exploring what it is to cultivate an intention and call an intention into your life. So there's lots to explore, and you can simply look some of those up, or you can find the playlists that have all of the different practices with myself and Tina, our co-director of the restorative training. So I hope that you look for some of those. And without any more announcements about that, here are some links to some Yoga Nidras to cultivate even more of a sense of trust and deep rest within yourself. Namaste.